Shalom, family. I hope you're all doing well. It's good to see you. We're just going to go over a few things because, the Republicans are on this roll about systemic racism not being real. It don't exist. We know that it exists because we live it every single day of our lives. So, you can make those statements if you want, but you can't back it up. That's the sad part. And why even try to humiliate yourself by putting such nonsense out there? But hey, that's on you. But just understand people like me have the right to challenge you on these things when you say this. Shalom. Shalom, everybody. Good to see you all. All right, y'all. This is absolutely crazy, but the politics in America it's a strange animal. What can I say? Shalom, family. Shalom. Well, when you deny something, then you don't have to pay attention to it. And that's really what they're trying to say. Oh, well, this don't exist, and they don't have to pay attention to it. But when have they ever paid attention to us anyway? They haven't. We know this. But they shouldn't make it this easy for us to disprove these things. If you're going to put it out there, at least make the shit difficult. You're making it too easy. And I'm just going to use some of the articles that have come out over the years where, we are the most oppressed group in America, and we pay the most as far as the cost of living in America. I don't know how many of you realize that, but we pay more in this country to live than anyone else. Now, why is that? Because of systemic racism. That's why. That's why we get the big bill and everybody else get to live here and have a much lower bill. And this is not just cars and homes, it's virtually everything, y'all. And you'll see what I mean when I start going through things. You will see. All right. We got 90. I'm going to wait until we hit 100 on both channels. Total up to 100, and then I will get started. If you're just coming, shalom to you. Wow. All right. We got 104 now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to share my screen. Now, usually when I have to go to a full screen, I can't see you. And I kind of hate that. I want to be able to see you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to try to adjust this screen so that I can see you as I'm talking. All right. All right. Give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Okay. Thank you, Loveline, for the super sticker. All right. Thank you, everybody. Now, let me see if I can get this screen to where I can still see you as I'm talking. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I can do this. Yeah, this will work. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, let's get started. Now, what is systemic racism? Now, this is a system that was created hundreds of years ago. And it is a system where it is set up where, where we're never going to get a fair shake in the system. And this is exactly how they want it. They don't want this to change. If you notice, over the centuries, all we get is lip service. We never see any real big change or improvement in the system. And if you notice, attitudes are changing now. Before, we just kind of went along with the system and nothing ever changed. Now, if you notice this election season, many Black people are backing away and saying, look, I'm not giving you my vote because y'all don't do anything for us, which is true. Politicians don't do anything for us because keeping us in an oppressive state is profitable in America. And you'll understand this as we go along. They make big profit off of our oppression. And at the same time, they are charging us more to live here than anyone else. So it's not just loans, it goes way beyond just loans. We are paying the most across the board, more than everybody, including immigrants, including white people, Chinese people. Everybody is getting a good break to live in America except for us. And trust me, the only thing these high IQ people are going to be able to do is come back and tell me I'm a racist for showing you this. And I have no concern about that whatsoever, because calling me a racist and telling me I'm wrong are two different things. Pay attention to the words, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with, what is systemic racism? What is this thing that they keep denying? So now let's take a look. Now, systemic racism looks at the way racism operates over all of society, not just one-on-one interactions. And see, pay attention to the words that the Republicans are using. What they are using is, well, it's individuals, and no, wrong. And let's say we go with their argument with it's individuals doing these things, but those individuals are running the institutions all around this country. Those individuals are the ones that are setting policies that are impacting our lives in the way that we live in America. So no, it's not individuals. It's the individuals that actually run the system. So you can't separate one from the other. The system is ran by the dominant society, right? So if it's ran by them, and we know the history of racism that comes out of that community, you can't separate systemic racism from the individual. You can't. You may think you can do that, but you can't. The system is still ran by people. It's not running on its own. It's being ran by people. So now let's look at some of the things that are impacting us. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with housing. All right. I want to thank Dark Matter for sending me this article. This came off of Bloomberg, ladies and gentlemen. When they looked at home ownership in America, Black homeowners are paying $13,464 more on their mortgages. All Black people that are homeowners do not have bad credit. In fact, there are many Black homeowners and white homeowners that have the same exact credit, but they get the lower interest rates offered to them, and the Black homeowners do not. It's all about race. Even the way they give you homeowners insurance is very racist. If you live in a certain area, you live in an urban area, they will charge you more for your policy than a white suburban family that's living in what they consider a better community. They will pay a much lower homeowner policy. So it's all about race. So the more Black or an area is, the more you're going to pay for that policy. So they even get a break on that we don't get. So right out the gate, this is systemic. You are saying because these folks are Black, they got to pay more for their homes. And it's not based on anything else other than the color of their skin. And just looking at this, y'all, they owe us reparations, don't they? If you're going to charge us more in a system that we're being oppressed in, just from that alone, you owe reparations. Mm-mm-mm. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the next thing, white workers right now, and this happens, by the way, during every single recession. As soon as they start hiring people during the recession, white workers will always get those jobs first. And then once they have as many as possible of their own hired, then they'll start hiring other groups. And right now, they are getting hired twice as fast as Black workers. Nobody should be shocked at this, because when it comes down to employment, we have always been the highest group in unemployment. Systemic racism. All right. So who's doing the hiring? Who's determining who can work or not? These white workers more than likely are interviewing with people that look just like them. We know who is running. The higher you go up in a company, the whiter it gets. We know this. This is nothing new. It's been like this forever in America. So they go above and beyond to make sure life is as comfortable as possible for these folks, but they could care less about us. And that's how it's always been. And we know we have always struggled with the highest unemployment in the country. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is never going to change. Okay. Racial profiling through artificial intelligence algorithms. I'm going to let this play because this is virtually every single social media platform have algorithms that are showing racial bias. So you have YouTube and Twitter. This is really interesting, y'all. If you uploaded a picture, and let's say you were on Twitter, what it would do automatically, let's say it was a Black person and a white person in a photo, right? And you uploaded that on Twitter, what would happen was it would automatically cut the Black person out of the image and it would just show you the white person. And it was happening so often, finally people on Twitter started complaining. That's how it made it into the media. That's how it made it out there. It took the users to call them out on it. See, they want you to believe an algorithm can't be racist. But this is not true, ladies and gentlemen. An algorithm can be racist if the person that is programming it is racist. It's that simple. Systemic racism, once again. All right. And they're not the only ones. Facebook, we have heard over the years how a lot of this is going on Facebook. And by the way, if you don't know, Facebook owns Instagram. So if you have an Instagram account, and Facebook owns that too. All right. So look at this one. I thought this was interesting. And this is one I did not know. And they use an algorithm, which I did not know, for visa decisions. So if it's a foreigner, and let's say they're coming from a Black location like the islands or Africa or somewhere, they use algorithms, and they found that the algorithms were very biased in who they approved for visas and who they didn't. And yes, it was racism, even in visa decisions. Now, this was the first time I've seen this, y'all. I never seen this before. So this was a new one right here. But this is clearly systemic racism. All right, let me get back to where I was. All right. So that was very interesting. That was one I did not know. So you can see there is no way they can't say this exists. Algorithms won't end racism. They're making it worse. It is. They are now using AI in everything, y'all. You may not realize it. It is used heavily if you are using the internet. They are using this for facial recognition. They're using it in the medical industry. They're using this even in banking. I mean, virtually everything is using algorithms, and they are finding all the way across the board that algorithms are showing racial bias and in every instance where they're used. And some people were suggesting maybe they need to change who's creating these algorithms. So, healthcare algorithms seem less concerned with Black patients. So this goes from you being hospitalized or seeing a doctor, and it is showing that whites are getting better care based on what the algorithm is offering. So it's saying, give them all this care. And then when the algorithm can see that the patient is Black, they are being offered less care, especially for pain meds. That's a big one, and they've had this myth since chattel slavery that we don't feel pain. And as you can see, that still exists even to this very day. They say we don't feel pain as much as anyone else. Again, that's racial bias, systemic racism right there. Once again, that's what it is. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, all right, Black people are charged at a higher rate than whites if a prosecutor didn't know their race. So let's say we get caught up in the legal system and a white person gets caught up for the same exact crime. The prosecutors across this country are charging Black people fines and court fees at much higher rates than they charge white people. Systemic racism. Okay, so like I said, this is really laughable. You're really looking bad trying to say this don't exist. We can find this everywhere. You know, they have attached, I will go as far as saying this, they have attached systemic racism to our daily lives. We can't even live life in America without this because they have rigged it up that way. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so as you can see right here, new research show Black households pay more for energy than whites. Do you know Black people in this country pay more for utilities than white people? Did y'all know that? See, there's a reason why every time you fill out an application for any kind of service, they want to know your race. They want to know your race because they're getting ready to charge you more if you're Black. So if you are using any kind of utilities in your house, especially energy, where you're heating your house, you're using central air, you may have like an oil or gas heater or even an electric heater, you are paying more than the average white family in this country, especially during the winter months to keep your house warm. We pay more. We're being oppressed and we pay more to live. I mean, it's outrageous when you start piecing everything together. I mean, this is a disgrace. Who the hell wants a big energy bill? No one. No one wants a big home energy bill, but we're getting it. Blacks, Latinos paying more interest for cars than whites. And I think many of us have known this for years. I heard this back when I first started driving. Well, this has never changed. It's still happening to this day. You can have the same credit as a white person and you will still get a bigger car loan. It's we always went by the belief if you have good credit, you can get better interest rates on loans. It's true, but not necessarily all the way true for Black people. Because let's say you got a 750 credit rating, right? A white person can have a 750 credit rating and still get a better deal than someone Black. I'm just saying. So, I mean, this one, I think most of us do know. Okay. Facial recognition. This has been a big one over the last few years. Black people will be walking through airports where they have facial recognition and we will get stopped because it does not recognize a Black face. And again, algorithms are as biased as the person that designed it. If the person that designed this facial recognition AI is a racist, they're going to do whatever they can to exclude Black people. So over the years, it's been terrible for Black folks. Facial recognition has also picked the wrong Black person for crimes. And Black people have been arrested for things they didn't do because the AI will match you up with someone sometimes in a whole different part of the country. And it will say that's you and it's not you. And that has happened many times. In fact, I've done videos on this. And as time goes on, facial recognition is going to be more widely used. And it's going to end up ultimately continuing to be a problem for Black people. Airports is probably one of the big notorious places. Like I said, there, and even police, they have ran a person's tags or something, and a whole different face would come up, different from yours. And based on the intelligence that they're looking at, you get arrested. It's happened many times in this country. Okay, I think we're at the end of this, actually. Yeah, we are. Okay. Let me just stop it. All right, y'all. So, no, this has been a nightmare for us. That's why I have to laugh when people try to say, this stuff ain't real. It's not real for them, you know, but it's all too real for us. It's not real for them. So no, we have to shut this down, ladies and gentlemen, when they try to say this don't exist. And any of you that gave super chats and super stickers, thank you very much. I deeply appreciate you and the donation. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say, just be careful out there and make sure you research any offer you get. Make sure you research it. You'll be surprised at how much, when it comes down to racial bias, you will be shocked at how much you can actually find in the news. And hey, start challenging these people. Wait a minute. I'm paying XYZ. My credit is good, but you're charging me more than this person. You know how I found out about the car situation, y'all? I actually had good credit back in the day. I still do. I had it back in the day, and I got a new car back then, and I had what was that car? I had a Mercury Sable back then. And a young woman that I worked with, she was white, and she bought a car, and our cars were similar, but I think she didn't have a Sable. I think she had a Ford, but the cars were similar in size and same year and everything. She wasn't paying a fraction of what I was paying, and I had good credit. I was pissed. I'm not going to lie. I was pissed off about that mess. So, just research it and confront them if you feel that, you're getting a raw deal on many things, which many Black people are. Unfortunately, I don't like it, but as long as this earth is being controlled by the people that we are looking at now, these things are not going to change. It's not going to change for us at all. I had yesterday, when I did my presentation on the Asians getting COVID, especially in the San Francisco Bay Area, ladies and gentlemen, I had somebody come and give me a long sermon on calling us Black, and why are you still calling us Black, and what's going on? Why you keep saying this? Because as long as we are here, as long as things have not changed for us, you're going to continue to hear that whether you like it or not. It has nothing to do with whether I'm saying it or not. This is the situation we are in. We know we are being called all kinds of bywords. And look at who's in power. As long as they are in power, they're going to continue to use these lame ass bywords on us. We know that. Black, that's like a crayon. That's, that's like a box of crayons. But this is where we are. I mean, you can get upset about that if you want and make a fuss about it. But as long as these folks are still over us, you're going to continue to hear it, whether you like it or not. It's not going to change until this whole place crashes. And we know that's coming. We ain't far off from that happening now. They're not going to be able to keep this going. They're barely hanging on now. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am not going to keep you any longer. Yes, I did hear about Breonna Taylor. It's just that we're talking about this particular subject matter now. That's why I just kind of wanted to stick with this. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. Systemic racism does exist, despite the fact that these Johnny come latelys are telling us it doesn't. And everybody, please enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for being here, and we'll certainly be doing this again real soon. Peace, family.